Hare Jaya Vishnu Paramahansa, Parivrajapacharya, Ashtotra Satat Siddhamad Divine Grace is confirmed the child. Srila Abhacharya Navina Bhakti Vedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Keja, Jaya Vishnu Paramahansa, Parivrajapacharya, Ashtotra Satat Siddhamad Divine Grace. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Prabhupada Maharaj Keja. Ananta Koti Vaishnavina Ki Jai, Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Siko, Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gatara Vasudeva, Sri Gaura Bhaktavina Ki Jai, Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath, Syamakunda Radha Kunda Girigivardhan Ki Jai, Savrindavan Ki Jai, Samaya Panavadi Dham Ki Jai, Jaganapur Dham Ki Jai, Gangamaya Manamaya Ki Jai, Srimati Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Our glory is to the summoned vortex. Our glory is to the summoned vortex. Our glory is to the summoned vortex. Our glory is all glorious to Sri Gauranga, Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gyanachimirandasya, Gyanajana Salakaya, Saksol Maritam Gyana Tismatso Gurudena. Suchaitana understands Tavit Gyana Muratari, Swayam Bhutam Kadamaya, Padati Swa, Padatika. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda Sahodito, Gurudhaya Praspavanto, Chita Chandra. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Katara, Sri Vasadi Sagora Bhakti. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Supposed to be a Bhagavatam class, but we are not actually reading from the Bhagavatam, so that's why I didn't follow up with Narayanam Namaskar Naram Chiva. We are not reading Bhagavatam. We're going to be discussing some things on Gopastami. Right? Yes. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We're very happy and fortunate we have the association of His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj. And this briefly introduce Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Vasudeva Maharaj, he joined the Hare Krishna movement way back in 1985. Right, I think many of us were not born in
83.
83.
Okay. 85, I got my initiation.
Okay. I thought I was born before that, so I was also not born. So, I think, so Maharaj got his initiation from His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj in 85. And he got his sannyas in 2009 by His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Maharaj. And somehow, some good fortune, I happened to be there at that sannyas initiation ceremony. When Maharaj was taking the vows, and in 2009, that was my first knowing of Maharaj.
Yes, sir.
Maharaj is actually a scholar, Recently, Acharya Tintu was sharing a paper of Maharaj on sonic therapeutics for avoiding financial fraud. I think it words like that, and where Maharaj in a very scientific, statistical way, how by the holy name, a person's transformation, that he becomes more filled with ethics and character, and the whole corruption and the financial. So, the whole Vedic spiritual truths, presented in a very scientific way so that it can help the humanity understand. So Maharaj is actually a scholar who travels all over the world. He has many He's a PhD, he's a faculty, travels with all over in universities to give his lectures and help them take a step to Krishna consciousness in their own particular way. Maharaj is a part of the GBC Leadership College. He's a Sabha Advisory Committee of Sabha, which is a GBC community. And Maharaj travels and preaches all over. I think before this, I had one opportunity. Maharaj spoke in Albert Road, right? And to Newtown, I think we're having him for the first time at this place. So we'd like to welcome Maharaj by loudly chanting 3 times. Haribo! Bhakti Vasudeva Swami Maharaj ki.
So, I have the great fortune to come to have your association. All of you are Dhamvasis. And in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is mentioned, Bharata Bhumi Te Hale Manasa Janma Yara Janma Swa Takikar Ka Upakar. All of you are great souls. So I come to take shelter, okay? When I was a young guy, brahmachari in New Jersey temple, so each time we make reference to this verse. There was one a retired professor who was the vice president, and he doesn't want anybody to make a reference to this verse. For whatever reason, I don't know. But if you make a reference to this Chaitanya Charitamrita verse, he said, no, don't put the whole thing on Indians. Everyone is responsible to spread the holy names. Everyone is fortunate to have acquired a human form of life. But it's so rare to be born in India. You guys should understand this. Before you're born in India, you must have accumulated what Lord Brahma refers to as Krita Punya Punja, heaps and heaps of pious merit. So if you don't know your greatness, you better know now. So today we'll be talking about, today is Gopastami. It's amazing how sometimes also we tend to undermine the idea that the cows are so important. Besides the economic and industrial values of the cow, cows are so important spiritually. Now, even the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, when he took birth, when he appeared on this planet, he was tending to cows. Earlier, when in his early stage, in his Kumara stage of life, that is before 5, before 6, Nanda Maharaj entrusted the cows in his care, in Krishna's care, in Krishna and Balaram's care. Think about it. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is a cowhead boy. He was not an aeronautic engineer. In India, engineering is very popular, okay? There's so many engineering colleges and universities in India. But Krishna, when he appeared, even when he appeared on this planet, he didn't go to engineering school. But he was a genius. So, in his Kumara age, he was tending to cows. But when he got to the Puganda age, Puganda is from 5 years to 10 years. Krishna's life is segmented into different stages or different ages. So we have the Kumara, we have the Puganda, what next? No. Kishore. And then Yog. So today is the day that Krishna was entrusted, officially entrusted, with taking care of cows. He's graduated from taking care of cows into a stage where it's a little bit grown up now, so he was entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of cows. Even Krishna was entrusted with responsibilities. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, he was entrusted with responsibility. And in fact, even in the Gita, he said if he does not perform well, the whole world will rationalize based on that, not to do anything. But the important point of today is Krishna was a cowherd boy. He was entrusted to take care of cows from today. Now, before we get to cow herding, let's see about where Krishna is coming from. He's coming from Goloka. And that is the place that majority of us want to go. I don't want to go to Goloka. Raise up your hand, let's see you. So I will assume that all of us want to go to Goloka. Why? Because their life is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. The trees are Kalpavriksha trees. You don't need mirrors there. Because, you know, the gemstones, they serve the purpose of a mirror. The ground, they serve the purpose of a mirror. But the point is that that spiritual world is Goloka. What does that mean? Planet of cows. Krishna's planet is a planet of cows. Literally, that is the meaning. Goloka. Lok means planet, and Go means cow. It doesn't occur to you that Krishna's abode is the planet of cows. So, if he comes to the material world to start herding cows, it's just an extension of his original or pristine duty in the spiritual world. And so, Gopastami means a lot for us. In one sense, it is a day that we should be reflecting on how to take care of cows. And the cow is one of the mothers of human society. In fact, the cow is even the original mother. Because everybody on this planet basically needs some nourishment from the milk. And the cow produces the milk. And Krishna going to the forest to herd the cows is fun for him. So Krishna is an anxiety for Yashoda, Nanda, the Brajabas and the Brajabasis, the cowherd boys and the cowherd girls. But the cowherd boys go with him, and so they are covered. The anxiety is a little bit, limited. But the cowherd girls never go into the forest to herd cows with Krishna. And so for them, when Krishna leaves into the forest, it's like, billions of years. They can't have a sight of him. And Nanda Maharaj and Yasoda, when Krishna is going to the forest, they will follow him, and the Brajabasis, They will follow behind him until then Krishna turns back to see that, hey, his mother and father, they follow him with a huge crowd of the Brajabasis. And he will stop to try to persuade them to go back. For the gopis, they are in anxiety, and one of the anxieties is that Krishna's feet, they are so soft. So they are worried that his feet could be hurt by pebbles, by stones. But then when they raise this issue with Krishna about him going to the forest, and they're in anxiety about him getting hurt because of his soft feet, and Krishna will just, sarcastically respond that, wait a minute, what is this? Am I the only person who goes to the forest? Other people go to the forest? When his parents ask him to put on shoes, he says no. So, Krishna himself worshipped the cow. In fact, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, cow herding is still their major occupation. And Krishna and his cowherd boyfriends, today they have been given the authority to be able to go to take care of the cows in the forest. And one of the main places where they herd their cows is on Govardhan. Govardhan, it is mentioned, I think in another Vrindavan Champu, it's mentioned how Govardhan, basically the caves, and Krishna him and his friends, they use all those caves. Some of the caves on Govardhan, they are so beautiful that you can't compare any of a crafted sculpture on the planet with some of the caves on Govardhan. They're so beautiful. They're so well, like, what's the name? The architect of the heavenly planets? Like Vishwakarma did an extra job. Extra job there. And one of the things that is intriguing is that where Krishna and his cowherd boys normally would go for their cow herding, their pasturing grounds on Govardhan. Govardhan has treasures, a lot of natural treasures. On other mountains, those treasures like sandalwood, minerals and all those things, they are guided. Like if you go to the Himalayas, Mount Meru and other mountains, they have all of these treasures too, these natural treasures, but they are guided by snakes. So on Govardhan, in another Vrindavan Champu, it's mentioned that those treasures are not guided by any snakes. So you see, Govardhan is completely an exceptional, and of course it's a spiritual entity. Govardhan actually comes from the spiritual world. You know the story of how Govardhan came to Vrindavan? You know the story, right? Huh? Govardhan was originally born in Sanmali to Dronacharya. Not Dronacharya, Dronacharya was his father. And then Pulasya Muni was touring different places. And then Pulasya Muni, he went to Sanmali and he encountered Govardhan. This is the very mountain where Krishna has his fun with his boyfriends, where they go to do this, execute their duty as cowherd boys. And so, When Pulasya Muni saw Govardhan, the beauty of Govardhan, the scenario and whatever you can think of, he was so much captivated that he decided he wanted Govardhan to go with him to Kashi. So then, he went to beg for charity. This is very common among sadhus. When they like something, they go beg for charity. Sometimes they use Krishna. You know, Krishna likes this. So why don't you give it to Krishna? But it's not Krishna, it's me. But Pulasya, he was very plain. He didn't say somebody I like it, some God like it. He said, I like it. He was very sincere, very plain. So he met Dronachal. But Dronachal was devastated just by hearing that Pulasya is interested, he's coming to beg for charity. He's coming to beg for charity for Govardhan. Guys, if you go and so, but out of fear that he could be cursed if he does not subscribe to the plea of Pulasya. You know, in this world, it's like we live in a state of fear. Even the sadhus who are supposed to bless us, we fear them, and because we are afraid they're going to curse us if we don't follow what they are requesting for. What a world we are living in. So, Dronachal said, okay, that's not the problem. But then he had to go and convince his son. That was a challenge. And he was able to convince Govardhan that, you know, this Muni, this Rishi, he has fallen in love with you. He wants you to go with him. So, also in those days, the children hardly disagree with their parents. Children hardly disobey their father. Children hardly say no to their father or to their mother. So Govardhan subscribed. He succumbed. And he had a discussion. Govardhan had a discussion with Pulasya. He asked Pulasya, okay, you want me? This is how big I am. 64 miles, 64 miles land, 47 miles width, 17 miles in height. How are you going to carry me? I'm so big. How are you going to take me to Kashi? So, Pulasya said, my dear boy, don't worry. I'll pick you up on my right palm and I'll take you to Kashi. So Govardhan said, again, he made some proposal that when we are on our way, you cannot put me down for whatever reason. If you put me down anywhere, I am not going to move. So they started their journey. And when they were crossing over Vrindavan area, Govardhan could remember, he was reminiscing the Jamuna, Vrindavan in the spiritual world. So he saw, like exact replica of the spiritual world. And he thought, no, I can't go beyond here. I have to be in Vrindavan. So he decided to assume his full weight. And his full weight, Pulasya, yes, is a mystic, but he cannot carry it. So when Govardhan assumed his full weight, it was too heavy. It became too heavy for Pulasya, so Pulasya put him down. Pulasya went to perform oblations, whatever he wanted to do, recreation. And then when he came back to pick him up, Govardhan couldn't budge. So he tried to persuade him, and even tried to coerce him, the Govardhan couldn't budge. Ultimately, Govardhan spoke up. He said, we signed an oral agreement that you would put me down, but you have broken the contract. What am I to do? So one may say, oh, Govardhan cheated Pulastia. But no. He assumed his natural weight, and Pulastia, who believed in his mysticism, mystic power, he couldn't fulfill his desire. When we want something, and when we devise every type of means to try to say that we acquire that, there are also some challenges we have to meet. So Pulastia became upset, he was angry, and he cursed Govardhan that you will reduce every day by the size of a mustard seed. So since then, Govardhan has been reducing in size. But you see that Govardhan is still huge there, huge. So that is the background understanding of Govardhan, the very mountain where Krishna and his cowherd boys were pasturing, grazing their cows. But even the cows, they were grazing it mostly on the Govardhan area. So cow protection is very important, and today is just a reminder. I think here also you have a Goshala, right? Yeah. If somebody worships a cow, there's so much of merit you acquire. So even people who are not, so to speak, who are not devotees, if they just protect cows, they attain so much of merit. People who are not even devotees, if they are maintaining cows, the unfortunate thing is that they maintain the cows and then they also kill the cows for meat. So today is a very special day for us because Krishna has been empowered. His service has been upgraded. His job descriptions have been changed. He's been uplifted to higher grade. And therefore, we have to understand that taking care of cows is very important. Krishna took care of cows. And Krishna cannot do without cows. He loved cows. I mean, out of all his thousands of cows, he knew all of their names. And when he sets up his flute, all the cows are coming. And so there's a very strong relationship between Krishna and his cows. And that strong relationship warrants that we should also develop a very strong relationship with our peers, with our members of our community. Because a strong relationship creates a congenial atmosphere for collective growth. If we don't have strong relationship, and I remember one boy, he was a brahmachari in one of the ashrams in America, in New York, and he left. I met him in the west of America, in the West Coast. So he was telling me how he was feeling very lonely. He had no friends in the brahmachari ashram, and so he left. So this is lived experience. It's not just preaching, but people don't have relationships. We're social animals. Krishna had relationship, very strong relationship with his cows. He knew all of their names. He took great care of them. So when we have a strong relationship with someone or with people, we take great care of them. And devotional service basically is about relationship building. Ultimately, we have a relationship with Krishna which we are trying to revive, we are trying to resuscitate. And so, today is a chance for us to reflect on how to consolidate our relationship with the cows, just like Krishna. Because this is the planet of human beings. Majority of the people on this planet are human beings. So, each planet, there are predominating entities. And the names reflect that what is predominant on the planet. So Krishna's life is such that he had a very simple life. But he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even heading of cows, how many people would like to head cows? We see that as the service for, maybe, people who are not very intelligent or they don't have high profile skills, is it not? Yeah. But that is the service of Lord Krishna. So who amongst us is greater than Krishna? That's the service of Krishna. It just shows how, even with a simple service like cow herding, you are guaranteed to go back home, back to God. You don't need complex, you don't need so much of complexity or high profile intellectuality to be able to attain Krishna consciousness. Even little service. What is required is, Krishna said, Bhaktya, devotion. If Krishna is herding cows, what about us? Krishna was not a GPC. In his profile, he was not a GPC. He was a cowherd boy. In fact, he was heading calves earlier. Today, he just got promoted. So let's think about it. What's the time now? I was supposed to say some things also about Srinivasacharya. Let's touch that a little bit before we quit. So Srinivasacharya was born to Gangadhara and Lakshmi Priya in what is in a little village called Chandaki or Chakandi. Thank you. So before his birth, his parents were yearning for a child. And, in most cases, parents of elevated spiritual status, in those days, they want a male child who will liberate the family. They want a putra who will liberate the family. Because in those days, women were not really encouraged to perform, to be serious about devotional culture. The culture was that the women, they helped their husbands and, they attained the same, they achieved the same goals as the husband. So people were really hunting, they're praying, especially the kings. They're looking for an opportunity for someone to take care of their throne, take care of their kingdom, the responsibility. So, Gangadhara and Lakshmi Priya, they were honestly looking for a child before they gave birth to Srinivasacharya. And even his own father, Gangadhara, he was a devoted soul of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted to meet with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but all of his efforts proved abortive because of engagement in the family life. In a number of cases, he tried to personally go to see Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he had so much of obligations, so much of engagements. And Srinivasacharya, as a young man, he was focused on devotional values. Of course, when your father is a Vaishnava, basically you'll be groomed in that way. I mean, just like Prabhupada. Prabhupada will wake up in the morning and he will see his father doing puja. And children, they like to imitate their parents. Parents are the first teachers of their children. So whatever the children see the parents do, there is a high probability that the children emulate them. So Srinivasacharya, he had a great fortune of being born by a staunch devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gangadhara. And when he desired to meet with Lord Chaitanya, desire was also not fulfilled. A desire to meet with Sanatana and Rupa, that desire was also dashed. But when he was going to Vrindavan, he had a dream from these sadhus that he should go to meet Gopal, Bhatta Gopal, and see Jiva in Vrindavan. So he met them. And eventually he took Diksha from Gopal Bhatta and Jiva Goswami. I don't know how that happened, but thought Diksha is one person who gives, but they mention about the two of them. So, he was a staunch devotee, a contemporary of Narottam Das Thakur and Shyamnanda. And one of the astounding things that he did, and when I was coming, even I was asking about, what Manohar Choice Style Kirtan means. Who knows about that? He was the one who introduced Manohar Choice Style Kirtan. Does anybody know about that? If the Bengalis don't know, so what to do? And he also converted a king who was hitherto not inclined to Vaishnavism. It's also mentioned that he was the sole person who actually, in Keteru, he was the first person, is that how to pronounce it? Keteru? Keturi or Keteru? Keturi. In Keturi, he was the first person who organized Guru Purnima. So, we find out he was such an exceptional Vaishnava who championed the cause of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission in all ramifications. He transported the Vaishnava literatures of the Acharyas from Vrindavan to Bengal. So he was a very great Acharya, great exemplary teacher. If you read the Bhakti Ratnakara, you'll be able to have some exposition about his preaching endeavors, his activities. And so today we should pray. We should be praying to him. Gadadhara. Who else is appearing today? Srinivas at this appearance. Gadadhara and someone else. What? Oh, Dhananjay. So on these days when we have the appearances of the acharyas, it's a special reflection we need to have to pray to them for empowerment, because no one can really function or accomplish the goal of Krishna Prema without being empowered, without having the sidelong glance of the past acharyas. We need the mercy of the Lord. We need the mercy of the acharyas. Krishna consciousness is not a matter of how we work so hard. Working so hard is also there, but getting the mercy of the acharyas, getting the mercy of the devotees who live around us. Because then the devotees around us will be praying without even us knowing. They'll be praying to Sister Gauranitai, they'll be praying to Prabhupada on our behalf. Oh, Govinda is so nice, he works so hard, he serves so sincerely. Please, your Lordship, help him. When people go behind us to pray on our behalf, that is mercy. So we should be lovingly disposed to each other, so that the devotees stay despite the challenges they face. If we are not lovingly disposed to each other, somebody leaves because they feel like that brahmachari in New York, because they feel they don't have any relationship with anybody. The great acharyas are known by their loving disposition. So, today is a good day to reflect. One of our pastimes of Krishna heading cows. Krishna milking cows, Krishna heading cows. Any comments or questions? In the absence of any comments or questions, we shall move for the adjournment of this meeting. Srila Srinivasa Acharya ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Gauranitai ki jai. Our glory is to the seven devotees. Hare Krishna.